you're expecting me to say something like Paladin or something like that. I once owned 1 million Paladin at 1.6 cents, sold them at 3.2 cents, and they went to $10. So that would have been my best investment, but it wasn't. The best investment I ever made, if I'm truthful, was a dog called the Flying Ferret when we were in the stock market in the 1980s. And our dealer desk put money in to own a dog that was going to run at Wimbledon Dogs. And what you did was you went along to the Wimbledon dog sale, and we all turned up in suits, and everybody else was dressed as you would be in Wimbledon in London on a Friday night, and we stood out like idiots with too much money, and they ran these dogs around the track, and then we had to sort of bid on them, and the Flying Ferret went round the track and absolutely blitzed all the other dogs, and we started bidding for it, and we bought this dog. The mere fact that they had put the Flying Ferret up against the greyhound equivalent of a basset hound to make it look good was irrelevant. We still enthusiastically forked out our money and bought the Flying Ferret. And then every Friday, the Flying Ferret was run at Wimbledon Dogs. And every year we had the Flying Ferret ball. Every week we had to put in 50p or something to pay for its upkeep. And we had the Flying Ferret ball was the big thing. It was a black tie ball, and it became quite famous in the city. And anyone who owned a bit of the Flying Ferret was, of course, extremely attractive to other people. And we would lord it around as Flying Ferret owners. The only problem with the Flying Ferret was it never won a race at all. And its trainer was called Dell. And Dell, in those days, of course, there weren't mobile phones or anything like that. So we would try to ring up Dell on a Thursday and say, you know, should we come down on Friday? Is he going to win? And all this sort of thing. Most of the time we couldn't get hold of Dell. And we'd go down there on Fridays and watch the Flying Ferret come in last again, and just wonder whether the whole thing hadn't been a bit of a laugh. But it was okay because we had the Flying Ferret ball every year, and the girls were all over us. So one Thursday, Dell rings us up, and he says, Friday night. It's like, that's all we need, 2 words from Dell, and the whole of Wimbledon Dogs, the word went around the stock market, the whole of Wimbledon Dogs was flooded with guys in black tie, which had never been seen at the Wimbledon Dogs. And the odds on the Flying Ferret had gone down to £1 and 1p, but still he took money. And eventually the Flying Ferret comes out of the stalls and absolutely flies down the straight the first time, comes around the second time, in the lead, blitzed everybody by 10 dog lengths. The whole of Wimbledon's gone up. Oh, everybody's collecting their 1p on a £1 bet. And it was the most glorious evening ever. And we thought that was it. And it turned out on Monday, Dell gave us another call, second call from Dell in 3 years. And he gave us another ring. He talked to the consortium head, which was one of our jobbers. And he said, I'm afraid I got some bad news. He goes, the Flying Ferret is no more. And what was his name? Robin, who was head of the consortium, goes, you know, is there anything we can do? You know, what should we say or do, or is there anything we need to arrange? And he said, no, it's all right. He goes, don't feel too bad. Every dog has its day. And it turned out the Flying Ferret had had its day, and it either turned into dog meat, although there was a rumour that they'd got rid of it because it had so many drugs in it. And the other rumour was that the Flying Ferret is still sitting somewhere in some house in Brick Lane with a little lady who's knitting tea cozies with a big smile on his face. So I don't know. But for value for money, the Flying Ferret with the Flying Ferret balls and all those nights at Wimbledon was probably the best investment I've ever made.